Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. This is This Week in Pop Culture. My name is Arash, and if the background has changed, I'm currently live in the store of Haskell Toys in Medford, Long Island. Live with me, as always, is the endearing and amazing Sammy Castillo.
Hey everyone.
Uh, Also live via Brooklyn, on the other side where I live, is Mr. Mayhem.
Hey, hey.
And last but not least is the lovely and entertaining, the most beautiful and brightest person that we've had is Miss Leslie Fry from Bitten Apple TV.
What's up, everybody?
So let's start with some like awesome topics and everything too. Let's go with the bizarre news. The bizarre Marvel fan theory suggests that Loki will be the new Thor in the Disney Plus show. One theory suggests that Loki will hold the hammer and become Thor, something that's Loki's always wanted. With Loki dying in Endgame and getting the stone and going backwards, it's only a matter of time that he becomes the king of Asgard. Will we find this sooner than later? Loki pretty much airs on Disney Plus on September 21st. Let's start with Sammy. Thoughts? Let's go.
Well, that's like I think if they do it, it's going to be like a tongue-in-cheek thing where
Right.
he like pretends to be Thor, but he's not actually going to be Thor because they have I forgot her character, but they have Natalie Portman as the new Thor. So, I mean, I think it'd be funny to have like, where he changes into Thor and he like struts his stuff around and is just, Loki being an a-hole. But I think like as far as him literally being Thor forever, it's too small potatoes for him. He doesn't like his brother enough to keep that on, with the way that they've portrayed him.
I mean, it is like, he needs to redeem himself.
If he needs to redeem himself, and they make him Thor, that is terrible writing. Because you can't redeem yourself as if you're a character and you're a bad character and you want to be a good character, you need to redeem yourself as that character, not let me transform into somebody different and pretend I'm that person. Yay, I'm a good person now. That's just terrible and unrelatable.
Well, with Mike, didn't we see the screenshots early when he was dressed as Thor on those early shots?
I feel like they're playing a gag again. Like maybe there's a scene where Loki will be dressed or he's appearing as Thor. If we were to go down the redeeming arc, first of all, maybe he can touch the hammer, but will he actually have the powers of Thor? Whoever shall be worthy, whatever the description is. I'm not even gonna try to mess it up. Whoever is worthy, like he would have to go through something. And I feel like maybe the hammer will kind of do what Captain America did, where it's like, you know what, you're not worthy as I thought you were, and he can't lift it. And maybe that will set him down the path. I'm going to agree with Sam. I don't think he can be worthy. I think he's playing a gag. And I think, honestly, they're just doing that so that way we can just be like, when's the next time we're going to see another photo? When's the next time we're going to see a video? Because I love Loki. I love his character. I love the actor that plays him. But he's Loki. There's no change in Loki per se. He's always up to something, and he can't be worthy because then it discredits Thor.
I mean, he did dress up as his dad, pretty much taking over Asgard. Leslie,
I agree. I think it's going to be something more on that line that the audience may be able to see Loki, but everybody else is seeing Thor, and it's not gonna last for the whole film because people really don't want to see Loki be Thor. People want to see Loki be Loki. Yes. So I think those are like maybe small scenes that we're seeing as teasers, but I honestly don't feel that he's going to be playing it throughout the whole film. Absolutely not.
Well, how about a film how about a film that'll be pretty much filmed back to back, talking about good old John Wick. While John Wick 4 is confirmed, John Wick 5 is confirmed, and it will shoot immediately after Chapter 4. Is is this even like a thing with Keanu Reeves? Is it pretty much just like Keanu Reeves is a wanted man. It looks like they just don't want to miss out, and they just want him to just finish, John Wick 5 while he's going to do some Marvel stuff, and hopefully they got plenty of time for him to do reshoots. At this rate, if he comes out with an album with him singing and not playing bass, people will just bite into it. I mean, we're on the Keanu Reeves bandwagon. We give us the John Wick, give us the Matrix, give us his band. Forget him playing bass. We'll get him singing. Sammy, are you shocked that the company is just going straight to making John Wick 5 and so they can hold on to him thanks to the pandemic? No,
I think what it is, it's probably one of two things. It's probably oftentimes when one film leads into another directly, they'll film them together, i.e. Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. Any direct sequel to each other will be, hello, my love, will be filmed back to back. Mm-hmm. So that leads me to wonder if 5 is going to be the final chapter, if they're filming it like that. But on the other hand, they could also be squeezing him in before Marvel and DC get their hands on him.
Right.
And then that way they have enough time to sit on the footage, do whatever they need to. If they need to reshoot, they can catch him between his filming, his films, the other films, and then pop it out like a year or two later. So it could be one of those two things. I personally think it's smart for them to do them back to back, because I love Keanu Reeves, but he's not getting any younger, and he does a lot of his own stunts. And there's only so much you can bounce back as I think he's almost 60. So, yeah.
Mike.
Okay, so
Mayhem, I mean.
I love John Wick. Yeah, there's no other Mike. Okay, first of all, hold on. Les, you and Hash, you guys have the best background for today. Like, Sam, I love your background because you can play your arts.
That's
but
because
last time
live
we were
at Haskell. This is Haskell Toys, guys. Like, this is where I'm at once a week, pretty much.
Right. But Les on my screen is like feng shui right now. She's just like, I hear what you're saying.
You got this whole Zen Buddha thing going on.
Okay.
It's my parents' living room.
They did it. They knocked it out of the park. I'm sorry, they did it.
I'll let them know that they did.
Please. So with John Wick, I love the first film. I slept on it like everybody else, and I watched it, and I was immediately hooked. I remember that fight scene in that house. And then the second film, I was like, okay, so they're going to expand the universe. And then the third film is like, okay, so where are they going with this?
Right.
But I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it. So the fourth one and fifth one, if it's the fourth one, I thought was going to be, that's it. I felt like if these guys have any sense, end it with the fourth one, make it a classic, make it like boom. Because who was the actress? Why can I not remember her name that was in the third one? Was it Halle Berry? Halle Berry was in the third one?
Yeah, Halle Berry.
For like a nanosecond.
Right. I don't know. Her and the dogs. I feel like
it was in the first 15 minutes of the first 15% of the movie was pretty much her and the dogs.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, I want to see it close, but I want to see it close good. So if they got the fifth one, they're definitely rushing him so that way Marvel and DC doesn't get to it. But also, I don't want it to drag on and tarnish the series, because after a while, it's just like, what else are you gonna do next? I agree. Bill and Ted is out.
Right, but we go through this with Fast and the Furious.
Okay, to be fair, if you're watching the Fast and Furious and you call it a classic, I mean, come on, every movie, it went from a tank, from the world's tallest building, was that in Dubai, I believe, I could be wrong, and it's just like, all right, what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? Fast cars, Vin Diesel fighting a rock.
Space.
Okay, at that point, it's faster than the speed of sound. It's faster than light. What do you call that? You're milking it. There's a nice cow, and you're just like, you guys are going to eat it. You guys are going to eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So don't let it happen with John Wick, is all I'm saying. 4 and 5, I'm happy that they're doing it. Shout out to Keanu, because I felt like his career has gone through another resurgence. I think, for me personally, I thought he was done, make little cameos with him. but he's starring in major films and people are excited to see him. I don't remember this.
Right.
I don't. Devil's Advocate, I remember him and I was young. I was like, who's this guy? You know? He reminds me of Nicolas Cage at times. The spirit of vengeance in a low voice, but he's doing really good. I hope they don't kill the series.
Leslie.
To me, whatever is in his sauce, I'm doing. So
Right?
Okay.
I love the dude. And he never ages. I don't know what it is about him. And yes, he is not the best
Mhm.
actor, but he is beautiful to watch on the screen. So I am going to watch Keanu Reeves. I don't care if he's an old man with a cane. I'm gonna be watching him.
Well, it's just
So-
like Harrison Ford. We don't care if Indiana Jones is. It's a 2-hour movie of Indiana
Mhm.
Jones sitting on a toilet.
Yeah.
We're going to go and see it.
No, the next Indiana Jones is him in a wheelchair getting wheeled off to the next
Right?
adventure with
I
whip in hand and
I
using the
hate
whip
people.
to
I'll
bring
be
him to the
cheering
end.
him on.
Home.
I'll be cheering him
No.
on.
I know, me too. Totally.
Right?
So we all agree pretty much Keanu Reeves could pretty much do no wrong. We'll end up watching it with whatever he does. As I said, you say that now, and then yet you were watching Toy Story and enjoying his version of Evil Knievel.
I love him
See?
in Toy Story.
Mayhem,
I
let me
love-
just tell you this. For all of you not saying no, there's a bunch of women out there that are saying yes. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
You know
watch
what?
it.
Fair enough. Y'all run the economy.
I
You're
mean,
right.
us guys, we watched every train wreck of of certain movies, and we've stuck with every single train wreck.
I loved him as Duke Kaboom.
All right,
I love X-Men too. That's it.
right. Speaking of train wrecks, sort of. I don't know if we call it a train wreck, but the Knight Rider reboot will be bringing Kit onto the big screen.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so
Yes.
were you sure
Okay.
about this? All right, all right, all right.
Hear me. Hear me.
Wait, hold on, I didn't
David
finish.
Hasselhoff, right?
No, let me. You didn't let me finish. You could.
He was the first guy with the first smartphone, okay? He had the first smartphone. He called Kit all the time. It was a beautiful car.
And he had the first iPhone. He had the first iPhone.
Yes.
Since I watched.
Yeah, he had the
Well, actually, Dick
right.
Tracy
So
did.
move
but
over
we'll go
Fast
for
and Furious. Bring me Kit.
All right. So I guess
Good.
well, pretty much, are people today ready that Michael Knight and his talking car during the 80s, Knight Rider was ahead of its time, even in the 80s. You think the car will be an upgrade and have Alexa in it too? Sammy, go ahead. Come on, because look, we have a talking speaker. We had a talking car. We had a car that drove itself. Now today's technology, we have soon to be self-driving cars. It's time that we don't get an upgrade from Kit. I think we get the Alexa upgrade because it is a Google car. Or
It's gonna be a Tesla.
A Tesla.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
With a giant screen.
Right.
On it.
Yeah. So go ahead, Sammy.
I didn't get a chance to read the article. Is there is there actors attached to it,
No,
or is it all?
There's no
rumor.
timeline. There's no rumor. All they're saying is Knight Rider and Kit. They don't even have Hasselhoff's name attached to it yet, let alone to find a version of Michael Knight.
Honestly, it falls into those reboots of nostalgia.
Right.
Like our generations are huge on nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be one of those properties that you're going to knock it out of the park and it's going to be badass, or it's going to be terrible. You know, I mean, they tried to do it with the A-Team.
Yes.
And the A-Team had its moments. It wasn't amazing,
right,
but it had its moments. And it was entertaining. But it wasn't like, oh my God, we've reinvented. But because Knight Rider was so technology based,
mm-hmm.
you know, I really think that if they kind of took it and ran, I think they could actually make a pretty awesome film with it. And minus the 80s cheeseball mullet with the pushed up leather jacket sleeves, you know, and the popped collars that were popped to here.
Right.
I think if they take all that out, and Germany's favorite son and put somebody with some substance, I think really it's a cool basis. Like if you cut all of the fat out and you
Right.
take the solid, just the story of it, it's a pretty simple, easily popular type story. We've
Mhm.
had 1,000 of them. The only difference was that Kit was a car, an AI that talked with our cool hero spy dude. So if they take it and run with it and if they make him like a smart ass, if they make Kit a smart ass, it'd be brilliant. It would be hilarious and give Kit some actual real personality. I think it'd be amazing.
Well,
Hopefully it won't suck.
Michael.
Okay, so here's how the movie needs to go. There's gonna be a second movie. There's gonna be a third because they like to milk it. This is how it needs to go.
I
The
mean,
first one.
A-Team
First
only got
15
one.
minutes,
I mean, A-Team
'cause it
only got
bombed.
one. They didn't bomb.
Yeah, it
because
wasn't
it
great.
bombed bad. Look at Ghostbusters though. It just kept going and it's still going. So hear me out. The first 15 minutes, we need to see Hasselhoff like saying like this is his last
Yeah.
mission, and he needs
Right.
to pass it on to somebody else. Maybe he got hurt, it got too close, whatever. We got some great comments. I don't know if I'd cast Zac Efron, but okay, let's put him there.
Right.
Let's put him there just for show, right? Zac Efron takes it. But then David Hasselhoff has come back in the last 15, 10 minutes to help save the world and give him his blessing. Kit needs to be upgraded to be a little bit more sassy, a little bit more knowledgeable, maybe not as trusting as well, because like you
Okay.
said, 80s shit, it carried me into the 90s when I was watching it, sure. But now you got to develop it. I don't know if they're gonna have to change the car. They're gonna have to change. They got to.
Right.
They got to let
Yeah.
classics live. So I think the best thing they can do is make a bomb butt movie and then turn it into a series with one season only, and that's it. Done.
Make a series
Done.
like okay.
I could see
With the
like
series, they
I
can kind of play around with the lore and the universe. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely could see them doing more than one of these. I think the first movie will probably be an introduction to those who don't know about Kit. But I also think it would be really cool if we had a good Kit car and a bad car, like a mammoth car or something like that from Speed
Oh.
Racer.
Oh yeah,
There was an
Yes,
episode
yes.
where there
that
was
car,
a
what was that
bad
car's
Kit
name?
car.
Yeah, there
It
was
was
a
a
bad
red-
Kit car.
It was a red car. If I
Yes,
remember correctly, there was a red car, and it was the evil version of Kit.
Kit. Yes. So we could say like we have like government people making a bad Kit car, and then we have our Kit car. That to me would be like the bomb
Car-
movie.
Are we
It
gonna
was
throw a little
called
Transformers in this? Car
Yeah.
versus car?
It was called
Car versus car.
K-A-R-R.
Yeah, right.
Car, yeah, KR. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I think.
I
It
think
would
we
be
We should patent this idea. We should patent this idea.
We
don't
can't.
know. Let's copyright it.
Right. I mean,
Right.
I forget. I think it's Columbia Pictures who owns the rights to it anyway, so that's why. But are you like shocked? Because if we're gonna get if we're gonna get the Knight Rider, we're not getting a Magnum PI. We're not getting a Ferrari. I mean,
Not
you guys
yet.
even surprised that we don't get a Magnum PI reboot as well? Mike seems to be
It's
shaking his head. Let's go.
It's
Too
you know what it is?
generic.
It's certain series goes with the times. Like, you remember Chips? I don't
Yes.
see Chips being redone. You know what I'm saying? And Chips was
It did get
okay.
redone.
It did get
Chips
redone.
did get redone.
By who? I missed it. Was it
The
that bad?
film, and it was not
That's
great.
why. That's
It
why
was-
because that's generic. That's not innovative. A
Yeah.
car that talks and has intelligence is innovation. That's nothing. Anybody can write a chip movie.
And also the reason why it did very well was because you got a James Bond version, but you got the talking car with it. So Michael Knight was our American version of James Bond, except instead of him
Right.
dealing with with MI6,
Mhm.
he had the car. So all
Yeah.
his missions were all from like out of a truck. You got the secret missions here, and then meanwhile, I'm gonna take my car to all these places. It's gonna, I'm gonna skydive across a giant bridge into another building, which Fast and Furious took from, into that moment. And
Yeah.
Kit could drive himself just like the Batmobile did to go find Michael Knight.
Yep.
If they make Zac Efron in this like kind of like bad, but like James Bond, kind of like, and I like Daniel Craig's James Bond, kind of like a little bit more grounded, a little bit more emotional, not too
Right.
heavy on the technological gadgets, but still have that. I think this movie will do great, and I still think it should do series afterwards. But at least the movie will be bomb, and then get Carr in it, and then he's a continuous villain.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, so we got people talking about Magnum PI. They did reboot Magnum PI
For
in
like one season.
2018.
Yeah. And it
It's a
bombed.
TV show.
Yeah, and it tanked. No, but I'm talking about the big screen, like going into the
Oh.
movies. They did try
No.
doing it, but I think what
No.
failed is they didn't bring the Ferrari back, and it didn't have the same appeal that it once had.
And
So-
nothing for nothing, but Magnum, those kind of TV shows were all based
Mustache.
on his sex appeal, and were
Mhm.
pretty chauvinist.
Yes.
You know, and by
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
I mean massively.
Mhm.
And that's what carried that series.
Yeah.
Was how many women can he bed? How many times can we have his shirt off? And he'll casually solve this murder on the side while getting the chick of the week. And that's not
Mm.
what our society wants.
hmm
So
Yeah.
I mean, I
But-
think you'd be better off with a Columbo movie before a Magnum PI flick.
Oh yeah.
How about a reboot of Murder She Wrote? I'll take a reboot of Murder She Wrote at this rate.
Please, no,
Hell
please.
Come on, a new version
And
of Angela Lansbury. Like,
I-
give me Murder She Wrote all day. I mean,
So I started rewatching those as a total side thing. And literally it's a family member.
yeah,
So it's like a nephew or a cousin of a cousin. And literally that's the catalyst for every single episode. She's visiting this rando family member, you know, and it's like, how big is her fucking family?
Right.
Jeez.
Hollywood.
And
Everybody's
she
related.
knows what I say about the death. She's like a sociopath. She's like, this person's dead. All right, everybody out. You know, it cracks me up. Anyway,
well. Speaking about something that's apparently gonna come back from the dead, I guess. Do you guys even want to see a version of Batman Forever, the Schumacher cut? Yeah, that's what's happening right now. The fans are freaking out over Val Kilmer attending DC fandom. You make a face right now, Leslie. This is literally a thing. While we were eagerly waiting for the Snyder cut, that's gonna but on August 22nd for DC's fandom, will be met with Val Kilmer in connection with the Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. Schumacher's cut is about 40 minutes longer than the original theatrical cut. The extra 40 minutes is more moodier, dramatic, and even explores Bruce Wayne's psyche. As we all know, Schumacher passed away earlier this year, igniting even more interest in seeing his adaptation, his adopted version. What do you guys take with all of this? Is Val Kilmer trying to get into the Flashpoint film? Are the actors telling the studio heads that the directors have a better version than they do? And is this another reach to save these franchises? Sammy, you're up first.
so it's them profiting off of his death. That's
Pre-
just the straight of it. That's what happens when a creative dies. They get a surge of popularity and they have to jump on it. It happened with my late husband and it's happening with Joel Schumacher. And that's all it is, because nobody gave a flying F about these films before he passed. And now that he's passed, you've got people that aren't familiar with him going, oh, let's rewatch these Batman films to celebrate the man. And now they're like, oh, Joel Schumacher. Ho, ho, ho.
Right.
He used to be our laughingstock. Now that he's dead, let's put out a new film. That's legitimately, that's all it is. That's all it is. And they have to strike when the iron is hot, because after a year, everybody's going to go on with their lives. And that sadness that people have and that nostalgia for his films is going to go away.
Well, apparently this 40-minute version was actually made way before his passing, and it's just sitting around on the shelf in Warner Brothers.
You could have made a
Hey.
director's cut. Director's cuts were super popular when he
Yeah.
was in the Batman films.
Mhm.
So that thing could have been sitting in the can. You know, that could have been his first cut.
Right.
His director's cut. That could have been his first cut. And then Warner Brothers execs were like, nope, too long, chop it off. And so
Right.
he chopped it up and then we got the theatrical release. So,
Right.
you know, who's to say? But I guarantee you, it's too perfect of a timing after his passing for them to release it, for them not to be profiting off of his.
Not to be part, yeah, with the Snyder cut, especially like running rampant. Let's have the Schumacher cut, mayhem.
He just passed away. His name's all in the news, so let's release it. I mean,
Right.
DC did it with Tommy's books, so that's
Right.
exactly what it is, and it's just business.
Yeah. Mayhem. You actually
Even
think
if
this is a
you-
reach for Val Kilmer trying to get into Flashpoint and be the next, also one
Okay,
of the
so-
Batmans?
Yeah, why not? We were just talking
Right.
about him last time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he needs work, but sure, why not? Why not get on the horse while it's moving? If you can. So, like,
Right.
for him to get that opportunity, definitely get into the universe, whether it be DC, whether it be Marvel, somebody get me into a universe and like
Right.
get me working. So that way, I can do things. To show that I'm
Right.
out of the game. As far as the Schumacher cut, it's nothing saving that movie. There's nothing saving that movie. I'm sorry, that movie. We were all hyped about it. Then we were like, this is trash. This is trash. Bad trash. However you feel is however you feel. I also feel like they're milking the Batman series now, the Batman name, and it's going to pot. On previous podcasts, I've definitely said that. We gotta stop giving Hollywood, I'll say Hollywood, because I won't point the blame to anybody, the AOKs for making us waste $13, $14, $20 to see a movie that's hyped about and it's trash, and then
Right.
be like months later, oh, by the way, here's a cut that didn't make theatrical release. Just spend an extra $20. That's what DVDs cost, or whatever it costs to stream. An extra $10, $20 to see the actual film, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, I have faith in you.
Right.
Made me go to the theater. The theater's another experience we'll talk about another time, and it's just like you're making me spend more money to see possibly a good portion of it. And we got people like out here that's defending it, it's trash, and people saying, hey, let's get all these cuts in, it'll make all the movies better. No, it's not. You're just allowing Hollywood to make more money off you and kind of feel like I'll say half butt is my word for today, half butt releases. And you know what? Shout out to Val Kilmer if he can get it, and he can kind of get the ball rolling on his side. But I'm just like, nah, no, down.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Sammy. I don't think that Kilmer has any. He doesn't have really like a dog in that fight. He's just riding on the boat right now because they
Right.
are releasing it. So, but this is just to to actually get money off of Schumacher's name right now. And you've got a captive audience. People are sitting at home waiting. They're craving anything that has to do with a superhero right now.
Right.
It's the mentality of who we are today because of what we're going through. So people are gonna watch that movie, especially with the new Batman out. The problem with me is that, damn, make a good film.
Right.
Do a Michael Keaton style Batman. Do a Batman that's dark and hearty and real and stuff like that. None of this parody. I love the parody when it was out in the 60s. That's fine. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. But if I'm going to see a real superhero movie, I want to be in. I don't want to see junk. And
Right.
I don't want this to be a resurgence of there's so many Batmans that I can't figure out which damn Batman I'm looking at. Because that's what I'm thinking right now. I mean, I won't even know like half the Batmans I'm looking at.
Like
Well,
right
it's
now.
Schumacher Batman when you see nipples.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw that. I know that one. And I remember, good music. Definitely good music in that movie.
Yes.
But that's about it. It was still kind of very
Campy.
it was campy and corny,
Yeah.
it wasn't really, at him. And then what's my guy? The one they did with
George Clooney?
George Clooney. Oh Lord. Oh my God. Oh, I was so disappointed.
We're still suffering from that.
Yes,
I
was so
watched him on
disappointed.
an interview with Graham Norton, and they brought up Batman, and he apologized. He apologized for he's like, I'm so sorry.
Well, actually, at New York Comic Con, right before the year before Adam West's passing, George Clooney walked in New York Comic Con. It was the biggest buzz on the whole entire floor that George Clooney was on the floor of New York Comic Con. Apparently, he went straight to Adam West because Adam West still bashed George Clooney as being the worst Batman. So George Clooney went to Adam West to apologize of him being the worst Batman.
Yeah.
So how about that?
Well, that's bad. Even if he had to go apologize for that, that's bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
But look at the respect though. George Clooney, who's an
Mhm.
A-lister, is going to Adam West to
Yeah.
apologize for that monstrosity of a mistake of him not even
Yep.
attempting to be Batman, let alone a Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Um,
Ugh.
Speaking of superheroes and everyone being on the bandwagon of these crazy superheroes, have you guys ever heard of this book called Superworld? Well, apparently, Ozark's Jason Bateman will be directing a new superhero movie, which is called Superworld. Bateman is teaming up with writer Mark Perez to bring Superworld to live action, a film adaptation of a novel by Gus Krieger, where everyone on the planet has superpowers except for one white-collar worker. Superworld was first released earlier this year as an audiobook from Audible. Bateman is expected to direct and produce, while Perez will write the script. Warner Brothers is the studio to opt the novel into bringing Bateman and Perez on board. Would you guys like to see Bateman do another superhero movie? Whatever happened to Hancock, too? And is this going to be? And is this just adding to the superhero bandwagon, Sammy?
At this point, you can't really call it a superhero bandwagon because it's now its own genre. You know,
Right.
it is once upon a time, 10 years ago, I'd say, yeah, totally a bandwagon. But now it has created such a footprint in cinema history that it's its own genre.
Right.
So I absolutely love the fact that we've got non-Marvel DC
Mhm.
hero movies coming out. I loved Hancock. That was
Right.
that was awesome. That was such a fun film. I'm so sad that because it was different. We were getting
Yes.
Batman and Superman and all those guys crammed down our throats, and then here comes foul-mouthed Will Smith, alcoholic, and it had a really interesting story, and how they got their powers and that kind of thing. And it had this are they angels? Aren't they angels? What do we call them? Kind of backstory.
And the weird part is how two superheroes together would lose their powers. That
Right,
was the interesting
right.
story.
And that was really cool. And I really liked, it. So I liked, I also liked Brightburn,
hmm
the horror.
The
horror
horror version of
one.
Superman.
Yeah, that was brutal. And it was great because it's something different. Was it the best cinematography? No. Was it the best acted? No. But it was something different in a genre that we know and love. So I am all for those types of films, getting out of the whole big two cinematic universes and people creating their own and then bringing it to the film, the film industry. I'm excited to see what's going on with it. I don't know the books, so but
Right.
I
This
the
was
fact that
this.
it's something
Well,
different.
well, the book was just released earlier this year, so it was just
Okay.
it was released as an audiobook.
Oh.
Michael.
So I agree because there's so many other comic book companies like Dark Horse, like everybody else that puts out great stories that ends up getting adapted sometimes by DC and Marvel, the big two, and we don't know about it, unless you're looking for it or you hear about it. So of course the premise of this one is everybody in the world is super except for this one guy. First of all, I love Jason Bateman. Okay, maybe he didn't do a great job when he did in Hancock, but his acting on Ozarks, oh my god. Talk about dysfunctional family. I love it. I love it's like an addiction I can't kick. I'm serious. It's
Right.
like the only thing that rivals that is the Umbrella Academy. But Marty Bird, Wendy Bird, they never get closure. It only gets better. So I think he's in a position where he can kind of take all the experience that he's seen, that he's done, and really make a really good, kind of like down to earth, relatable superhero movie. I think there will be lots of tones and metaphors and analogies and all these different things that we can relate to that will make this a lot bigger and kind of open the doors for different takes of superhero. Because right now we're kind of still doing there's not really a dark superhero kind of deal unless it's done by other people who aren't like DC and Marvel. You understand?
Right.
Like Brightburn, you know what I'm saying? Like there's another movie I can't remember. Obviously we can kind of say Joker, but Joker's a villain.
Right.
So it's just I like the fact that they're opening the door for different subgenres of heroes and superheroes, if you will, or meta people, whatever they decide to call it, because DC and Marvel all has those names patented and copyrighted or whatever. So like, I'm looking forward to it. I think he's gonna knock it out the park, and I think, unfortunately, it's only gonna be maybe a season 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe unless I see the first season, I'm like definitely season 2. I think it's only gonna be season 1, but that's all it needs. That's all it needs. I'm down for it.
You're saying forget the big screen and go right to the small screen. It makes it a lot easier.
This recording, yes. Last week I was like big screen.
Big screen. Like we're all on streaming right now. Give us the streaming because we'll get stuck watching for a good 24 hours or literally 2 weeks, depending on what it is. Leslie, Jason Bateman, and his superhero project.
I'm all for it. I love Jason Bateman, especially bringing props to my hometown area of Missouri. The Ozarks. Getting it down packed. It has put that place on the map.
Right.
In addition to Branson, Missouri. So I am like really psyched for it. And I do think it should be a small screen venue. I don't think it should be large screen. I think that it would give it a lot more context, a lot more depth if he had it on a small screen. And he actually does produce and direct some of the Ozark episodes. So I'm I'm excited to see what kind of intensity he brings to these characters. But I'm also just so excited about anything that's fresh that's coming into the superhero venue. I can't remember the name of this movie, and maybe you all can help me out, but it was on Netflix. It's about this little girl that had superpowers. Her dad had superpowers. Her mom had superpowers.
It just came out earlier this year, right?
Yes. That movie was good as hell.
Anna? Was it Anna or something
No,
else?
no.
Then I got it
I
wrong.
think it had something to do with like fire, or maybe the audience can help us out. But that movie was so good. It was so good. And it introduced a superhero character that we haven't seen before.
I'm not okay with this.
Huh?
It was called I'm Not Okay with This.
I'm Not Okay with This? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
It was so good. It was really, really, really good. I really loved it. And it was just refreshing to see it. It had me on the edge of my seat, because the thing is, we're all familiar with superheroes and what they can do. We've read the comics with it, but when you are introducing a new superhero and you don't know their capabilities, that's what makes it exciting. So I'm all for this. I'm definitely for this. Let's bring some new blood into this.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much. How about something that was just brand new that had us at the edge of our seats? So, spoiler alert for everyone: if you haven't seen the Umbrella Academy's latest season, please come back in 15 minutes. And if anyone on the panel hasn't seen Umbrella Academy, take your screens off right now and come back in 15 minutes. So about right now, we'll have to spoil. There we go. We'll have to spoil the Umbrella Academy season 2. So if you haven't been watched season 2 in the Umbrella Academy, if you notice that someone is still alive and is the leader of the Sparrow Academy. As we also saw in season 2, we see Ben sacrificing himself to stop Vanya's deadly power surge. Did Five mess up again? Did Ben see the light in the 1960s? Was he reborn? And who's ready for Ben in the Sparrow Academy? And and is this Klaus's fault? Sam, if you watched the Umbrella Academy, go ahead.
I binged that in like a day.
Right.
Took more than a day. No, I have not read the comics. It's on my comicsology list to read, but I have not gotten there yet. But the writing for the show, I don't know how close the storyline is. I know the character design. Yeah, I know the character designs are very different, and the first season was nothing like the comics, apparently. But what they're doing inside the show is awesome, and it's got great writing. And they made you love this character Ben, and then they gave you Five, who knows everything and is basically the unofficial leader of everything. And then this season is where he makes a ton of mistakes. he gets super emotional. He lets his emotional baggage with the family get in the way. You know, his past gets in the way. And really, it was 5 seasons. This season was definitely all about 5 and Ben. And I love the fact that when they jump back forward, you know, everything's fixed. But is it really fixed? Because when you're talking about timelines, you're also talking about creating alternate realities.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is that, you know, when did they just get access to an alternate reality? Because when you start changing stuff in the past, it creates a branch off and stuff keeps going. So in order to fix the apocalypse that happened in 2019, did the Time Bureau just send them to another reality where they never existed? You know? So I'm really like, and I love they took this super sweet emotional character that they built up over 2 seasons, and now he's the head bad guy. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait for it. And like, there's nothing I have really bad to say about the writing of this season. I felt the writing in this season was better than the first season, to be honest.
Okay.
And it was much better in terms of character development. They weren't rehashing the same stuff over and over again. You know, like Vanya. You know, Vanya's stuff was like, oh no, she's the end. Just kidding, she's not the end. You know,
Right.
oh no, yep, she is. And
Vanya brings everything back. Oh, great! Here we go
yeah,
again.
but she doesn't. You know,
Right.
like you think, oh God, they're redoing this whole BS again. Okay, they took the apocalypse with them, but then you find out that it's like nothing even in her control. And I did not like her character in the first season. I thought she was a very flat character and very boring. She was a very boring character, and she was a bit of a whiny bee. Not gonna lie, she was. And so, you know, but they took that character and then they kind of smartly pressed the reset button on her, where they gave her amnesia, and now she's starting from scratch. And then she went through all of these experiences and then got her memories back. So she lost that sort of victimized mentality that she had from the first season.
Mhm.
That she goes, okay, no, I understand. So that was really smart character development to fix the weakest character, because she was the character that everybody liked the least in the show.
Right.
So I'm glad they listened to the fans and they fixed her character. And I don't think they really, I mean, it's especially to disbelief. I don't think that they did it in a cheeseball way by saying, you know, she just came out of a time portal and gets smashed by a car. Pretty sure she'd get amnesia. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty easy.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And you know, if we're believing in people with superpowers and, you know, time portals, I'm pretty sure we'll understand that getting hit by a car and getting your head smashed into the pavement will lead to amnesia.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for what they're doing with Ben and the Sparrow Academy. Like I'm really excited about it. It needs to happen like now. Like
There you go.
next
Yeah,
week.
we want next week's season.
I want it now.
Michael, did you watch the latest
Yes.
season of the Umbrella Academy?
I think one of the best things about acting, especially about Ben and his brother, is that if you notice that when they go from like seeing where he's there to he's not there, he's always making a conscious effort that he's there, even when he's not there. And I'm always watching the footsteps and placement. That's how engrossed I am into this acting. That's how engrossed I am into this season. This season, I agree, was better than the first season by far. Once again, this functionality of this family is just, but it works. But it works.
Yeah.
The reveal with Sir Reginald Hargraves, their dad, was just like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it makes sense. And they did it in the comics. They did it differently in the comics, but I felt like in the show, the Netflix show, it was better. It was better because you don't actually see the face, so they gave you something to latch on to. It's no longer a mystery.
There was no closure, really.
Right in the comics. Oh my God! This I'm also very upset because of who Reginald is, and he didn't teach him about time travel. Like, I was a kid and I knew about time travel. It was either one way or multi-branch theory. So it's just like, once again, this functionality. I'm clawing at my brain.
It's .0001. That's
Yeah.
really what they went.
Yeah.
Like, oh, really? Like, you know.
Well, and to be honest, like on that side, just to add a note, Fives was a know-it-all to begin with. So he basically gave, his dad the middle finger and took off one, in the show. He just was like, "Screw you, Dad! I know what I'm doing," like a typical 12-year-old, and just ran off.
But unwillingly, he gave his dad the code to time travel. Because if you go back and watch it, I have to watch that episode twice. He by accident gives his dad the code. Let's hear from Leslie how she thought about season 2.
I wasn't done.
You guys.
Oh, we can come
I'm
back.
gonna tell you something. I have not seen season 2 yet.
All right, we're going back.
No. But wait a minute. I did get to see a portion of it. My husband put it on, and I immediately like zoomed in, and I was like, "Oh no, you got to take this off," because I was traveling. I was like, "You got to take this off because I can't get into
I need
this
to
right
watch
now.
this.
I can't."
We
I
didn't
can't
reveal
right
too
now.
much to spoil the main.
No, that's not
Oh.
going to change. That's not going to change anything for me because I have to speak to the acting in this film. I mean, in
Right.
this
Yes.
series.
Klaus
The
is
first-
by far the
the
best.
The first season, there were a lot of characters I wasn't really getting into it.
Mhm.
But in that 5 minutes that I saw of the second season, I wanted to know what the hell was going on because the acting and the new characters that were introduced are so riveting and so much you really want to know it. I'm glad they're listening to the fans. I'm glad they're listening to what pleases us because that's what you care about when you're a writer. You care about what the fans want to see. If you've got this many people vested in a series that people are binge watching it and you've got a captive audience, you best better believe that this is a time to increase your fan base, and they are doing the right thing. So yes, I will be watching it when I get back home. I just couldn't get into it, and I think it was like 10 minutes that my husband put it on, and I don't know why he did that to me, because just to piss me off, maybe.
I think he did it just to spoil it for you. Like, guess what I'm watching? And
No,
you're
but
not.
he put it on while we were eating dinner, and I was getting ready to leave the next day, and I was like, "Yo, don't put that on yet. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it." But I was like riveted.
Well, last week during the show, I had 2 of my friends on my couch watching season 2 while I was doing last week's show. So after they left, I had to go rewatch it because I had glimpses of it literally over my computer while doing the show. But but are you even is anyone even surprised? Because think about this, right? The Umbrella Academy doesn't have any action figures, let alone a toy line, and the only thing close to it were the pop figures were sold out within minutes when they hit the shelves. But let's continue with Mike's story of what he was telling us.
All I want is, first of all, I'm so sorry your husband did that to you. Okay, I had a friend on my podcast. Remember Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
I had a friend on my podcast who got his girlfriend was invested. He never watched a single episode. I think we were on season 8. So then he caught up, and then he started watching episodes without her, and she just signed him out of all the things, like the TV, the Xbox, whatever. So I understand that betrayal.
It's war. It's war. When my husband watches something without me, and I'm like, "Did you watch that without me? You really watched that without me?" Yo, but he tells me wrong. Oh my God, I can't.
Yes, everyone has that one person, we'll say, that's always watched it before you, and is literally binging it, like literally spoiling it for you, saying, "You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this." But you watch this without me. We're supposed to do this quick. We're supposed to do this together. Sandy. On Google, if you have your Google browser, you can Netflix with Ben at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. With the 16-hour difference,
you are telling on her.
He's watching.
He's in the stream. He knows.
He's in the stream.
Oh man,
he's watching.
I'm always telling him you gotta watch this. And
I'm not here for this. I didn't hear this.
Span of a gnat. He'll watch like one episode and then go back to The Simpsons, or I'm gonna go play my game.
He's playing with his car right now.
He's probably playing the guitar, but he's watching, but he's probably playing the guitar while watching. And he's here. We're binging together.
Your significant others got words for you after this.
He can watch it at his leisure.
I have to tell you too about the toys and any of the marketing. I think this is very smart marketing because you make people want to buy something. You don't want to oversaturate your market there and make it very catchy. You want people to say, "I'm going to buy everything that comes out when it comes out." You want that. You want that history. Oh, see, Ben. Oh,
Now he comes up. Uh-huh. No, okay.
Ah, we got a bird.
he's on it. Ben's on.
Erica,
Yeah.
I totally understand. Kids can get it too. You're gonna get signed out either way. We're supposed to watch this together. That's all I'm saying.
You can't watch My Hero Academia by your, you know.
We started down
with-
this road. No, it's an us thing. It's an us thing.
Yeah.
No. There was one where I started season 1 with someone, and then literally by when season 2 came out, I wasn't even like a thought process.
And then,
So like it's like, oh yeah, I watched season 2 already. I'm like, you couldn't wait for me to watch season 2? Like we watched season 1 together.
You know, Ben
wow,
works.
you guys,
I
wow.
put it
Yo,
on in
the worst
That's
relationships
a
ever.
TV in my studio. So when
Yeah.
I'm painting right there, I have the TV on, and he has like his normie job. So he has to go.
Normie job,
a
normie job.
He's got a normie job. So once he doesn't have a normie job, then we can be on the same page.
It's so hot from that shade. It's so hot.
Oh,
But there might have been clouds. Cool me off.
And
It's so
then,
hot.
we're gonna get married. You got to deal with this for the rest of your life now.
Right.
There's some more shade. Oh, okay. Let me turn on this light.
That's a shame to me. I'm a ridiculous human.
Well, let's stay on Sammy's good graces pretty much because she couldn't wait to talk about this one. Animaniacs is back in action on Hulu
Yes.
sometime in 2021.
Yes.
So the rumors are true. In 2021, after 22 years, the Animaniacs make their return. Your favorite characters, Yakko, Wacko, and Doc, with Pinky and the Brain, will give us 13 episodes of havoc and mayhem.
No.
Even Steven Spielberg is returning as executive producer.
Yeah.
Are you guys surprised with Warner Brothers' move to bring Animaniacs back, with Viacom bringing back all the MTV and Nickelodeon shows on Comedy Central? And are you guys surprised that the Animaniacs are going to be on the Disney-owned Hulu? Going to Sammy, since she knows everything about Disney pretty much as well too.
No, I'm not surprised because Hulu's not controlled. While Disney owns it, it's not controlled by Disney.
Mhm.
So that's why they have shows like The Great and things like that. Disney is really good about throwing money, and when a company has proper oversight, they don't
Right.
interfere. So Disney might own it, but it is not geared. They're smart. It's not geared toward their the kids. That's what Disney Plus is for.
Right.
So they're gonna have the racy shows like The Great, which on a side note was amazing and hilarious. But bringing the Animaniacs back, they literally brought everyone back from the original run, even the writers. So
Wow.
you're gonna get all of those amazing adult innuendos that every time Wacko says something sexual, you got
Hello, nurse.
Next.
Hi, everybody. And they've got literally everything back. And I am so excited because that was one of my favorite shows. I still watch it. When it wasn't on Hulu. I think Netflix had it for a little while, and I binge watched that.
Yeah.
And I'm an Animaniacs nut to the point that I sang the countries of the world. It is my favorite, after Batman the Animated Series, it's Animaniacs. It's my Warner Brothers. You got people that can watch Bugs Bunny all the time. Animaniacs, my jam.
Mhm.
And so I can't wait for it. I mean, I hope they don't, I'm so excited that I'm scared
Yeah,
because
the good feathers.
I was so, the good feathers. I was so excited for the Muppets to come back,
Right.
and then Disney made it sad
Mhm.
and pathetic. That ABC show was terrible. And then they had the Muppets Now that came out on Disney Plus, which is brutal. So I'm really hoping that that watered down humor doesn't happen to Animaniacs. I want those sexual jokes. I want there to be celebrity jokes where Jerry Lewis was their arch nemesis through the whole run of the show.
with today,
Lewis, come on.
with today's,
Somebody knew, of course, because everybody else, nobody's gonna know who Jerry Lewis is.
Yeah, it is right.
But I
today's
was another
time,
funny
it's kind of
celebrity villain. But all of the celebrities like that probably would do it. They'd probably do their own voices for the show because they're our generation. They grew up, they watched it. They were the kids that watched it with us. So you know, I really like, I can't wait for that sort of slapstick, you know, level of humor to come back. It's so it'll be so refreshing to what the typical type, you know, what the typical kid humor or cartoon show humor is now. But it's very formulaic and everything is pretty much the same, from Chowder to Cat Dog to, you know, I mean, you had Craig McCracken doing some awesome stuff, but then he kind of went the way of a producer and stopped writing. And then after that, everything became super boring and formulaic. So I'm excited for some throwback. I really am.
Mayhem.
Sebastian,
Jesus.
we will not bring Nicolas Cage into this glory. Quiet. We read the comments. We read the comments.
Perfect.
Leave Nick Cage out of this.
We see you holding that microphone as if it was plugged in.
Nicholas
We
Cage
know
is
it's not.
hilarious as their arch nemesis. Come on, wouldn't you want to see an anvil dropped on Nicolas Cage's head?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
And he would probably voice himself because he'd think that's
no
Yeah,
voice,
because
just
he like, yeah,
Anvil.
that's him.
Listen, can we just admit the 90s produced some great cartoon series
Yes.
from Batman, Spider-Man,
Yes.
X-Men, and those are just the Fantastic
just-
Four, but they hit it out the park with Animaniacs. I think Animaniacs and Batman was like neck and neck, and then Animaniacs blew it out the way for like awards won for that show. And then they made obviously Hysteria, which was great because I learned from Hysteria, which came afterwards. So like keep it going. Like we need those writers back in our lives. This is a perfect time for them to come back. This is a perfect time for them to teach us more. They did an updated country song. I want to learn it. I want to learn it. I will start the show every time with 5 seconds of me learning a new country if that's need be. I will do it. I will do it. Bring it back, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Are you
I
saying
can't wait.
Are you saying start this show with the Countries of the World song? Just to get
Yes.
everyone back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe
I
everyone
will.
back
Bandwagon.
I will say either that.
It's United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
Peru. See? There you go. Take one.
Lastly,
I agree. I am all for having all the 90s cartoons come back. When that old like Cartoon Network stuff that used to come out back in the day, it
Yes.
was so smart. It was so smart. It was so, I mean, you got it just today, and I've said this before, I am tired of looking at one stick drawn with an eye attached to it as a
Mhm.
cartoon. Let me see those kind of graphics in Animaniacs, Courage the Cowardly Dog. These are kind of shows that I want to see. I want to see
Yeah.
these old things.
Yeah.
And obviously, they too know if they're bringing them back, that they know that what is out there now is crap. So they're going back to what is successful.
Yeah.
What is successful. And this is success. This is success. This is not about nostalgia. It's just about good writing. It's about good cartoons. You know, that is what this is about. This is not nostalgia because there's a generation before us that would say old Bugs Bunny or old, Roadrunner is nostalgia. You know, I am from that generation, but I'm telling you, the 90s has some good stuff out there, and I'm
Yes.
all for it. Let's bring it back.
Gargoyles.
I'm so
Well,
I'm so
well, don't forget,
I
this
totally
is the
had a
problem that
crush on Goliath.
this is the problem Warner Brothers had. They recently said that they are changing Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam with not having their guns, with Animaniacs basing all their old, I guess, slapstick comedy from the 20s to the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. We even forget at one point, I believe Yakko changed the color of his face to be opposite of what it was. Hit their version of blackface that was on the show as well too, which didn't get a lot of criticism because it was a cartoon. But some of the other ones, like we all know Hello Nurse, and with some of the slapstick skirts comedy, as we like to say, can Warner Brothers actually change that format to find, I guess, a new version that would work for all genres? Because remember, in today's society, when you're taking away two of your characters that come out with pistols and are constantly shooting at Bugs Bunny, and then you have Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny going rabbit season, duck season, and one gets popped in the face, we can't have that no more. Mike, go ahead. You seem like you have a lot to say.
I just, Des, do you want to
Leslie,
take
we
this
got
one?
you go. Yeah, Leslie seems like she's ready for it. Leslie,
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
okay. A gun in a cartoon never made me want to shoot up anybody. I have never understood this analogy.
Right.
I have never in my life thought that when the Three Stooges threw a brick at somebody's head that it wasn't going to hurt.
Right.
I don't know where that is coming from. I don't know if it's just the substance of the children today. Now, I understand any racial tonality that might be there, but if writing is smart, they can bypass all of that and still get to the good writing. We don't have to have that as a gimmick. We don't have to have that as a gag, but I just don't get it. It just, I don't understand like taking away a weapon or a gun or shooting or whatever, that's going to provoke anything, that I don't know. Maybe you all feel differently about it. But I never thought about picking up a gun and shooting somebody in the head, or a rabbit for that matter, or a duck. I never thought of that. I just looked at it as this is the way it's written, and
this is a cartoon.
It's
not real.
I think what it is, that's it. I think the generation today does not understand what slapstick is.
Right.
Slapstick is slapstick, and there is no reality in slapstick. It's a gag. It's a sight gag. It's not reality.
Yeah.
It's like telling a bad joke that we can all laugh at because it was a bad joke.
Mm-hmm.
And when the whole group agrees that it's a very bad joke, all right, we continue on to the next line. With today's society, we say a bad joke, and we're now ridiculed for saying a bad joke because it offended one person, and because it offends one person, that's going to be the problem that Warner Brothers has. If they already have a problem with Looney Tunes and bringing back, including Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons is on their list as well, too. How is Animaniacs going to survive that same problem?
I think
Animaniacs didn't, while it had a lot of sight gags, it really relied on spoofing and making fun of films, and hence the Good Feathers, Pinky and the Brain.
Mm-hmm.
It was smart writing because it was typically taking something that we knew in society and then making a spoof of it, like having Jerry Lewis as their villain. They're really, after just watching it, because I own the box set, there really isn't a lot of gun violence or misconstrued racial anything, really. You've got some sexual innuendos. That's really, and what's funny is when I was a kid and watched them, I thought, that's funny, Highlanders. As an adult watching it, I'm like, oh, there was a lot. So quite honestly, I think it's going to be an easier transition for them to bring Animaniacs back than it is for them to bring Donald Duck. Not Donald.
Daffy Duck,
and Yosemite Sam, because you watch those, and I don't get it either, Leslie. Like, I'm with you. You got Bugs Bunny playing a symphony concert, and a guy keeps coughing and sneezing in the middle, and he turns around and shoots him. Like, that's funny because it's so stupid of a reaction. Like, it's so blown out of left field that you laugh. But it never made me go, oh, okay. So if somebody bothers me and interrupts me, I shoot them in the face.
That's my solution. Yeah, I don't understand the constitution of this generation, and I don't know where that started. Where they believe that was
started with the whole PC thing, and then you have a whole generation of people that grew up on PC, and now it's on steroids. But regardless, not politically.
Just as a strange example, look at how Robert Downey Jr. is now getting ridiculed for doing blackface in a comedy movie.
Oh
my God!
But that's the joke. That's the freaking joke.
It was
Yeah.
the joke the whole entire time, and even
Wait,
people of and
wait.
even let me even people of color have actually come up and said this was a joke from beginning to the end. The black characters, every single character, is making fun of him for doing that.
Okay, but
and
Cash, those are Karens and whatever say making this thing. Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
don't come to my rescue if you don't know my pain.
Yeah.
If
Right.
I'm gonna joke, if I'm gonna laugh at that joke, and I saw that as a funny, hilarious joke, I was amazed at how well he did. But that was the freaking joke. The
Right.
freaking joke is that he could play any character, even a black man. That was the joke.
Yeah.
This is some ridiculous stuff. I could guarantee you, it's not one black person that went up to Robert Downey Jr. and said anything to him about it.
No,
so
they
that's
did.
all it is.
No.
You'd be
No,
surprised. There's some.
in the past year, after last year, all the new kids have now seen Tropic Thunder and only seen a screenshot of him in blackface because now they're googling him, not watching Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
And this goes in the same aspect of, Animaniacs was doing the same exact thing, and yes, with Looney Tunes having that same problem, where they can't do all the old jokes. This was a made fun of joke that everyone agreed on to be a joke from beginning to the end, which now Simpsons have a problem with, which now the Cleveland Show had a problem with actors acting, playing a certain part. And I believe one person said, give every actor, a voice actor, a number. Let's see who can do a better job at a voice, because a lot of it is voice acting, to let alone
Yep.
someone doing a good job. And look, we have White Girls 2 on the mix. White Girls 2 is on the list of new movies coming out. These are two.
Yes, but is anybody saying anything about that?
No,
Is anybody
because of
saying about
how.
the race? Okay, so this is my point. This is my
Go ahead.
point. There is one thing when you're doing blackface and
Right.
you're doing it so that the person appears to be ignorant or nonsensical or anything like that. Something that was done in, old vaudeville. There is a difference. But when you are doing a movie like Tropic Thunder, who I think is that's probably one of my favorite films. And Robert Downey did an excellent job in that. And I don't care who says anything. If you got issue with it, you can look me up and talk to me about it. Because to me, I thought that that was such a phenomenal thing that he did.
Yeah.
And it's such a ridiculous, it was written to be so ridiculous and outrageous. There was nothing in it that was offensive, in my opinion.
Right.
It was the fact that this guy could play anything, even an Australian. Heck, I don't find anything offensive about it. I didn't see anything because it is highbrow humor.
Mhm.
If you are highbrow enough to figure out where the joke is and all of that, then there's something wrong with you.
Mhm.
You need to go back to school. So basically, I found nothing to be offensive about that. Now you're saying, I understand with everything that's going with the Black Lives Matter that nobody's going to say anything to the Wayans brothers about doing White Chicks, which was also one of my favorite all-time films.
Right.
That is, to me, you can't slap the hand of one person
Right.
and say you can't portray anything. The joke is in the whole synopsis of the movie. That's the
Right.
whole joke.
Where they can go undercover and play two girls, let alone two white girls, to go into the Hamptons to figure out a crime.
Yes.
That was the whole gist of the joke. And they take off the costume in order to do their second job. So
Yeah. The thing
they're
is,
yeah.
nobody is saying anything about like Watermelon Man that came out years ago in the 1960s where he portrayed a white man. Nobody is talking about nobody's talking about Black Klansman for that matter.
Right.
Mhm.
Why is it
Right.
okay? We understand the dynamics of racism here in America, but when you do it to the point that it belittles people or it makes fun of people or it does something like it sets up an ideology of how a group of people look, something like Birth of a Nation or something like that. There is a difference in that kind of work. And then there's a difference in this kind of work. I just don't get it. I think right now people are jumping on all this hate wagon thing because they feel like now you have social media, you have a voice, everybody has a voice, everybody's seen, everybody is, Everybody wants to be heard and seen, and they don't care how stupid some of that stuff sounds. They just
Right.
want to be on. They just want to be on. They want to get how many likes they're going to get, or how many people are going to send hate messages, or how many people are going to talk about it. It is a joke.
Well,
Yeah.
sooner or later, this little generation is even going to try to ruin wrestling at one point, which has violence to all more slapstick humor as ever before. And we're living through this. I would say this other pandemic of no one getting the joke. Michael,
I feel like there's nobody talking loudly about this. About like when these groups are like, "Hey, this is wrong." It's like, no, this is what it is. You're just taking it left field. Because if
right?
that's the case, y'all remember Big Mama's house? Then you mean to tell me men can dress as women in a jokingly manner and vice versa? And also the second thing too is I feel like there are lazy parents, there are lazy guardians or whatever who don't want to teach their kids, okay, this is a joke and this is why and X, Y, Z, whatever, whatever. I agree that certain things shouldn't be taught in schools per se, but at the same time, the kids are gonna learn. We're
Bad
all gonna find
parenting.
out about
That's
stuff.
bad
Like,
parenting where the parent doesn't tell the kid, by the way, what you just watched was a
Mhm.
joke. It's not real.
Yeah,
Don't repeat it.
yes,
don't repeat
That's
right,
it.
bad parenting.
right.
Parents today are going off TV, get alone YouTube, Netflix, and all other things to teach their children. How many hours a day do we watch TV? Now you got your kids playing video games and they think Fortnite is real?
So just to kind of go back to the
Yo,
original.
That's a whole other thing.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
another okay.
that's a
But
whole
just to
other
kind of
thing.
go back to the original question about Animaniacs, right? And
Yeah.
you remember you saying that they were going to remove the guns from Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Since you're not going to put, let's say, a disclaimer on because you can't tell your kids not to watch TV. Even with technology, you can shut things down or whatever, stop from watching TV. Are you going to also take the parts out where Bugs Bunny would cross dress as a woman, Daffy Duck
Right.
too, and kiss Elmer Fudd to get where he was going? Because that's a major issue as well. There's so many things we kind of like need to like.
Oh
Okay, well
no,
now
but
we
that's
can't show this,
okay.
and that's unfair.
They're
But-
gonna keep that part in because of current politics. But the guns have to come out because you have half the states that don't allow in all the gun rights activists.
but when did this happen? When did it become that those kind of things in a cartoon, an imaginary cartoon, became politically correct? Why are we bringing politics into this?
Because parents today are not teaching their kids that this is just a cartoon and this is not real life.
You
That
can
is the problem.
obviously see this is a damn cartoon.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's in the
But
TV.
this is reality. I don't understand this. You could
Mhm.
obviously see that. Where is the disconnect? Nobody had to teach me that. My mother didn't have to sit down and tell me what a cartoon was.
Yep.
I knew it was a cartoon.
Do you remember the show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yes.
Yes.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers used to have weapons and they used to have a lot of fight scenes, right? As a boy, I was high on up. My parents never had to tell me I didn't have to put my hands on nobody like that.
Exactly.
However, Angry Moms Association was like, you're doing too much. My kid shouldn't have to watch this channel and feel like he has to use a toy blaster gun or whatever and da 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 da. And it all comes down to you being a parent
Yep.
and telling your kid what's right and what's wrong. And yet again, nobody speaks out about it and says, hey, Angry Mom Association, hey, activist group that isn't fully informed or whatever, you're wrong.
Right.
This is what it is. Instead, what they do is they feed into it. And now that wheel starts gaining more traction.
How about
And every-
this? How about this? How about you don't like what your child is watching, so you turn the channel? How
Yeah.
about that?
How
See,
about
I-
this?
You see that common sense?
What
Now,
you-
like, see that common sense? Wearing a mask is to protect you and other people around you. When stores say they won't serve you because you don't have a mask, people get upset. Why are you claiming this on us, right? When you could just go
Wear
to
a mask.
another
Another
store
store. Yes.
that will serve you.
Mhm.
Same thing. Simple.
Common sense. It's common sense.
Well,
It's-
yeah. Go ahead, Sammy.
It's unfortunately, I think there's a level of
Yeah.
what?
Oh my
I got
God!
wrestling
I hear
toys
that
here,
story.
guys. I'm at Hassel Toys in Medford, so there's wrestling toys here. So
I think there's this level of entitlement that people have lately, like over the last 10 years or so, where they're like, well, if I think it's wrong, then I'm entitled, blah blah blah. When and I didn't grow up with that sort of mentality. Like I had to deal with the cards that I was dealt. And if that was, I improved what I could, I understood what I could, and moved on from there. Like, you know, if I didn't have something, I didn't have a hissy fit and say, I'm entitled to having the same toys as the boy next door who's 5 times richer than my family.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, a lot of that mentality wasn't there because of lack of exposure to everyone else. You know, so with the lovely internet and us being connected to literally everything, everybody feels that they're entitled to everything. And it has given people a soapbox and a platform to have their opinions heard, which is good, but it's also bad because you have this level of entitlement on top of that, because your opinion is now a thing that other people can read and band together. But, you know, I'm you know, getting back to actual pop culture, you know, the difference between Robert Downey Jr.'s blackface, we'll use that term,
Right.
and blackface from, I don't know, the 20s in vaudeville was literally racist. The other was a joke that was actually done quite professionally and quite tastefully. He didn't slap on black makeup with a big red ring around his mouth and some crazy dreadlock thing and ran around talking about eating, you know, cheepalins and duttonlins and watermelon and, you know, calling people mammy. Like, that is the big difference between.
You are absolutely right. You're
Right.
One, he's making it's a joke
On his
unto
acting
itself.
career. Yeah.
The other one is literally taking an entire culture of people and turning them into a joke. And that is not what happened in Tropic Thunder. And that is also something that is not, like, everybody is lumping everything into one pot when that's not the case.
Right.
You know, they're not like, people aren't looking like the white chicks thing. You know, it's literally the same thing except the roles reversed. However, they're not making fun of white people.
No.
They're just playing 2 airhead girls, you know, and as a white person, you know, they're, for some reason, which I don't have, but a lot of times there's this guilt. They call it white guilt because I was born white and you weren't. So now I feel guilty because you have a harder time than I do because your skin's a different color. Like, that to me is also racist because, you know, like but like having that guilt because I don't control what other people do, you know? So it's reversing that thing and it's not going to be said.
The thing is that you have guilt without educating yourself. You
Exactly.
really want to know that? You won't have any guilt. I recommend White Fragility to everybody to read that book because it gives you a perspective of what you if you don't know what you're making fun of, you're feeling guilty about it or you're feeling bad about it, you're not educating yourself. With this whole Black Lives Matter movement, I am not condemning the whole entire white race for what happened 400 years ago. But I feel that you are responsible for educating people and informing people about what happened in America's past and not making people be marginalized here in America. This is what you have to do. You have to break down the system that occurs here in America so that everybody has an even plane. But I'm not blaming anybody for that because you're not responsible for what happened in 400 years of politics here in America. That's stupid. But you're feeling guilty for 400 years that you didn't even have anything to do with.
Right.
You know?
I'm
So
gonna answer. Yeah, I'm gonna answer Erica real quick. And why is it still a thing and who's making a fuss? I believe Michael said it was mothers again. What was it? Mothers against what again?
Mothers against everything.
There pretty much is like
Mothers against violence. I think that's an actual group.
Yeah. I believe it's Mothers Against Violence, and this goes back to 1992, Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. This is where it first started.
Yes.
Where the first and we're gonna continue on. I'm gonna give you guys like a quick thing. This all started back in 1989 when the first Ninja Turtles movie happened. Mothers against whatever he just said were against Ninja Turtles the movie because of all the weaponaries, all the weapons that were involved in the movie and everything. So during this time, pretty much, when Ninja Turtles 2 happened, look who just finally joined us. when
Hey,
Ninja
Bert.
Hey,
Turtles
Mike.
Right.
when Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze happened, every single one of those Ninja Turtles were not able to use their weapons because of because of the outrage of mothers had on size, weapons, nunchucks, and a bow that was used by Ninja Turtles. Not only did that happen, same thing was with the Foot Clan, where they did not use swords. They went back to reverting to sticks, and when Ninja Turtles had to defend themselves yet again, their weapons automatically dropped out of their hands. So this has actually been I guess, a behavior that's been happening since 1992. That when it happens the first time, by the second, third, or fourth time, it does not exist when it comes to live action. And we'll let Michael give his take on Animaniacs and how he's excited about it. We have to look at the new reality of what we, like our generation and older, has watched from when it comes to Animaniacs, Looney Tunes, and Tiny Toons. And we saw this with Thundercats recently with Thundercats Roar. Yes, Michael, and a new version of She-Ra. Our version no longer exists. It is watered down for the new generation, not for us. So our let's just say slapstick comedy will soon no longer exist, where we cannot joke and continue on to the next story. Michael, your thoughts on Animaniacs and it coming on to Hulu next year?
I'm thrilled with it, man. I'm a huge Animaniacs fan, so for me to see Animaniacs back on the big screen, I'm going to be thrilled with that. 13 episodes. I know I heard everyone talking about that earlier. I was driving on my way home, so sorry I missed everything, guys. I'm thrilled with it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I hope they bring back the little innuendos and all the little inside jokes that they did from the original stuff that we had in the 90s. I agree with Leslie. 90s were the best cartoons eras, if you think about it, where we had, stuff like, was it Mayhem that said that? I'm not sure. I don't remember who it was. Sorry, Mayhem. But, but that's when we had animation that was great. You had the Justice League Unlimited. You had, Batman. You had the Superman stories. You had I know it was later on, but the Transformers and different stuff that we had for cartoons. Look at Static Shock. Static Shock was probably one of the greatest cartoons I loved.
Yes.
I would love to see Static Shock come back. You give me that. You give me Gargoyles. Give me Gummy Bears. Bring back the Disney, Animaniac cartoon stuff where they had that. That's great animation. Now we have something called, what is it, the Angry Peach or something, or Angry Orange on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. It's a freaking peach that they put a mouth on, and that's the entire thing, or Gumball.
Right.
Like, this is stupid animation that they're doing now. They're not making it towards us. They're making it towards children because they want to sell toys. 5-6-year-olds are going to drive their parents nuts to bring cartoons and to get the toys. You give me back Animaniacs, you do that, you're going to see us. We're the ones that are going to tune in. We're the ones that are going to buy Hulu. We're going to rent that stuff to watch those stuff. And if anybody's offended by it, change the channel. There's Netflix, there's YouTube, there's Quibi, there's TikTok. You have all this other stuff. Watch all that other crap. Right. That's where the talent isn't, available. Right. This is where talent is, and we're going to get the original actors, the original writers, the animators for that. Thank you. Now, if we could do the same with Ren and Stimpy, they're not even talking to Bob Camp. They completely forgot about Bob Camp, the guy that created the cartoon.
Yeah.
How is he not coming back for Ren and Stimpy? The man made it.
The man's behind Ren and Stimpy. Yeah. Without Bob Camp, you don't even get Ren and Stimpy.
And, right? You just totally threw him on the sidelines. Like, why? How are you going to bring that back? And you're not bringing that guy back. Right. Like Cybertron, the Transformers on Netflix. You don't have Frank Welker. You don't have Peter Cullen doing the voice of Optimus or Megatron. The voice acting is down. This is a way that Hollywood is trying to save money and cut corners. I'm thankful that Kevin Smith is still bringing all good actors and voice actors to the new He-Man, Master of the Universe. Because if he doesn't, that's going to get destroyed. No one's going to tune in and watch it. Right. But I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to go to the last topic of the day, which is The Rock recently shared the Black Adam preview for August 22nd's DC fandom. Looks like DC and Warner are sparing no expensive with August 22nd less than 13 days away. The Rock recently tweeted with "They need a hero, instead they got me," and in a half second image of Black Adam. Are you guys ready for The Rock? Are you ready for Black Adam? Or you're just waiting for the trailer so you're not disappointed again? Mayhem, go first.
Okay. First of all,
No, Martha?
Tommaso, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Yeah, Tommaso.
Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers was my jam.
Yes.
I still watch it. I still watch that.
All right, I'm sorry. Back. Some cried. Anyway, so we're talking about Black Adam. Finally, finally, it happens. The Rock movies by himself are either one of two things. He's either a cop, a law enforcement of some sort, and it's either good or it's eh. You know what I'm saying?
It's either really good or you're getting one of these.
Right. He's always a law enforcement. FBI, CIA agent, Lone Ranger, whatever. That's cool. Do your thing, Rock. Him playing a bad guy, and I really hope they kind of develop his character. I hope he really brings that acting out because I really loved him in Jumanji 2 and the second Jumanji movie. Come on. Like,
yes.
I felt like he had it. Like, I am excited. I don't have faith in the film, but I'm excited for him. Nonetheless, actually, you know what? I take that back. I have faith.
Okay.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Give me the elbow. Give me the eyebrow. Give me everything. Give me everything, and then let's move on. Come on. Black Adam doing the people's elbow? You know, come on.
He'll probably do the Rock Bottom. I forget what movie it was. He did the Rock Bottom on. Actually, it was Walking Tall? No, the one where he's in Brazil getting the Elgato.
Oh, the rundown.
The rundown
Yeah.
where he does the Rock Bottom to one of the NFL players.
The guy could fly. He could give me an elbow. He could give it to me. Give it, Martha.
Speaking of the Rock,
Where's Sebastian? Martha.
What did you say?
You know, they made fun of it. They added for Godzilla. So, like, Godzilla's getting beaten up by King Kong. And Godzilla's like, you let him get away. He's going to kill Mothra.
Mothra. All right, Bergie on The Rock and Black Adam.
I mean, we've only been waiting like what 5 years now for an image of him as Black Adam.
There was a teaser split-second image on his Twitter, on that random Twitter. That was.
But I'm saying like he's been rumored for Black Adam for like what 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're
Shazam.
finally gonna see it. Like they want to put him into something in DC, and it would be smart because I think he will bring something with it with the acting there. I mean, Shazam wasn't bad. I wouldn't mind seeing a Shazam versus him if they're going to do it right. I want to know who the villain is. What are they going to do? Are they going to bring in the little the librarian, the worm?
Henry Cavill?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Well, now
Cavill,
he's back, so it's going to be exciting. And I agree with Mayhem where The Rock has to come out with. I want to see him heel, like a heel, like he was in wrestling when he was the heel part of the. When he was part of the.
Really. Are you gonna jump off your seat when he does the people's eyebrow legitly as Black Adam? Would you like?
Dude, I will.
Not the eyebrow.
I will clap.
The elbow.
The elbow. He's fine. He's got magic powers. He doesn't need it. He does.
But
he does a lightning bolt and he just puts his eyebrow on it.
You know damn well he's going to do that people's eyebrow. He's going to do that eyebrow. He's going to turn and just do one of these when a hero shows up, and everyone's going to lose their mind in the theater. He was a perfect heel when he was in wrestling. I think he could play that role perfectly fine here, and I think he's going to do a great job. If they get the right writers, they get the right cinematography on it. I think this movie could definitely do something.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to make them something in the box office because they need something. You smell?
Yes, Sammy.
I agree. Like I'm really excited. The Rock never delivers a
That's awesome.
truly bad film. They're always entertaining. Like it might not be the most amazing.
Hercules.
But even that was still entertaining.
Right.
Okay. The script sucked and
Yeah.
it was terrible, but he was still great in it. I'm just so happy that he's not playing a trope character that he's made that the career has been made upon. Like like you guys said, he was a heel in wrestling, and then he played another villain for his first film appearance, which was the Scorpion King.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
With an assassin turned king. And then he started getting these hero roles. And then it got to a point where it wasn't it wasn't even like a character. It was, okay, we have The Rock in Fast and the Furious, and he's playing The Rock,
Rock.
Fast and the Furious.
Right.
Okay,
Can I say one thing?
Rock, and he's going to be in Rampage. He's
Yep.
The Rock, but his name's Jack or whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
Nobody knows his name. He's a rock.
No one cares.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love the fact that he is playing something different. I loved him in the Jumanji reboots because he wasn't playing The Rock. He was playing a kid in his body, and it was brilliant. And so I'm so happy that he's playing a villain again,
Right.
because nothing for nothing, but like the Scorpion King is not great.
That is true.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is
exactly. But even still, like looking at these stills, his bearing is completely different. His
Right.
facial features are completely different. You know, like in terms of like his expressions and things of that nature. You know, he's not The Rock with his chin up and hero pose. He's hulked over and his head tilted down. Like even his posture is completely different. So I'm really happy that he gets to play this villain, and his acting ability is so much better than what it was in the beginning. You know, like, I mean, even when he does his little stints on wrestling,
Yeah.
like I was a kid, I watched The Rock on, Wednesday nights. Everybody did. But then to now it's like night and day. It's like a completely different person. So him coming in with a decent script, or hopefully a really good script, and great cinematography and a great crew behind him, I think it's going to be, I think if they do it right, Black Adam will be that film in the DC universe that's going to turn everything around.
Yeah, I agree.
All they need is that one film,
Yeah.
and it can turn it all around. And having The Rock finally a real life superhero
Mhm.
in a real superhero flick, finally after so many years, it's like hopefully it's going to
So
be
you're
great.
saying it's like opposite of Joker. We're getting the villain that's actually in the universe with all these heroes finally. So now we get to open that door with all the DC films that are about to happen.
That's right. And I mean, I'll be completely honest, I don't know a whole lot about Black Adam. I know like this much about it, and just what I've read from the flick. So yes, I know, but it's DC.
Yeah.
Hopefully, all they need to do is get their foot out of their ass just once, and they'll know how amazing it feels to not have it up there so far that they'll go, oh gosh, this is what why didn't we do this earlier?
So I'll let Leslie answer this. With The Rock open a door, since we got the mess of the Justice League, could The Rock be our savior for the DC verse in a way?
Let me say this about The Rock. First of all, I will say this: I will always smell what The Rock is cooking. So I
I think
always-
everybody on
A little
this
special seasoning,
but,
right?
but let me just say this: this guy has made himself a brand. He has made himself a brand.
Yep.
I doubt very seriously he's going to do a movie with a poor script.
Right.
I believe that if he is going to bring DC out of it, and I'm sure he's aware of what their track record has been, he's going to make sure he researches Black Adam to the nth degree, and that he portrays it that well. Because remember, this guy has a hero mentality. He's going to make sure that he's going to bring DC out of this. He's not going to do a crappy script, or he's not going to do it at all.
It's probably why we waited 5 years for it too.
Exactly right. He's a man with an ego, and he has a brand, and there's not going to be anything that's going to tarnish that man's brand after he's worked so hard to get it.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
going to be good. It's going to be good, or he's not going to be in it.
Yeah, I agree.
So you guys all agree that literally The Rock may be the savior when it comes to we finally get a decent trailer in about 13 days from now.
The only thing, Wonder Woman was their best thing that they've had out of DC. Black Adam, I think is going to be a great one. Shazam was a good comedy type deal. Like it was great. Aquaman was a solid comedy style like superhero. Black Adam, I think, could be a little bit more serious, but it's still going to be more comedic in a way. It all depends on who they bring in, but I think he's going to do a solid role with that all day.
Right. Pretty much we're at the end. Pretty much we're all our topics and everything. Let's go down the line. Tell us where to find you and where you're going to be next. Go ahead, Mayhem.
Hey, so you can find me on my couch. Definitely geeking over Animaniacs. But in the meantime, definitely look me up on August 22nd. In Beyond Con, I'll be hosting. You can find me on Geeks Unlimited. You can find out the podcast Last Stop on the L. You go to my main
Right.
YouTube, Instagram at Pure Mayhem. And if I'm not anywhere near here, I'm probably with Hash at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
every Sunday, talking it out with Sammy, Les, and Mike when he's not driving.
Mike's that way.
Like,
For me, he's this way.
yeah.
That way. I got it.
Virgie.
You can catch me here on Sunday nights with everyone, my lovely, co-hosts and everything like that. Well, you guys rock, and and then Tuesday nights with me and Hash, we'll be doing pop culture, but with toys. We'll be talking about
Yes.
toys and everything where you can find them and things. And then my Facebook group that we run, BYOG, Be Your Own Geek. Please, join in, check us out. A lot of great stuff in there.
Sammy.
So as always, I am here 8 p.m. Eastern with the lovely trio of men and sometimes Leslie on that side of me. I'm a little dyslexic. And then on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern through my Facebook and Twitch channel, I of course do artwork and tell horribly inappropriate stories and curse quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm quite proud of myself. No cursing today. Woohoo! I know Arash is like, don't bring that up. We don't want to call attention. I'm like,
Next.
yes.
Yeah.
What, the cursing?
The cursing.
Leslie.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. I won't finish. Go ahead, Leslie. I got
Well,
my
wait, Sam, the only reason why I didn't curse is because my parents are watching in the other room. So I didn't curse. But you will also find me with the Bitten Apple TV, hopefully next Sunday here at 8 o'clock with Hash. And Hash and I have a little something going on that we might be discussing like on a Friday night.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that. Also, I am doing a reunion of a film that I did in 2003 called Camp. That's to be TBD. I will keep you guys posted on that. And you can find me on my Wix page at Leslie J. Fry or on IMDb and my Facebook and Instagram. And
Well-
also Sister Slayer, I am a gamer. You can
Yes.
you can find me on Xbox.
Yes.
That is my name across all platforms. So I'm playing right now Dead by Daylight, Call of Duty, and Destiny.
Yes. Well, my name is Arash Zandia. I'd like to thank my lovely team, Mayhem, Bergie, for finally joining us in the last literally 20 minutes. Sammy, as always, you can always check us out on Wednesdays. You can catch me and Bergie on Tuesdays, and soon you will catch Leslie and myself on Fridays, and most likely you'll probably catch me on Mondays because I'll try to probably do a wrestling show as well too, and I'll probably be doing a live comic book convention while at a comic book convention on September 5th. Yeah, we'll try to do it all while we're doing it. Thank you all for watching. I was live today at Haskell Toys here in Medford, Long Island.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching us. Have a great night, and I can't wait to see you guys all next week. Good night.
Everybody.
Night.